Well, good day, viewers, and welcome to Noel's Garden Tractors and Firewood again today. And not sure what we're going to get at to today in the garage, but one thing I am going to do is change the oil on the Case 224 tractor. Not too exciting, I guess, but anyway, that's what I'm doing. And we may do some greasing. And I'd like to get the grease into those two nipples that I can't seem to get to. And yeah, so we'll switch you around here and we'll show you the weather. All right, nice sunny day with a few clouds around, but it's getting green over there. Look at that. You might have to come earlier than I said, or Ronaldo. Yeah, sunny. So it's supposed to get up to 12 degrees today. And at the moment it's fairly windy out, so it's kind of still cool. I think it's only 8 degrees yet. So we'll have a look here and see. Yeah, 8 degrees Celsius at the moment. (46 degrees Fahrenheit). So we have gusts of 35 miles an hour from the southwest. So it's kind of breezy and cool. And that would be 56 kilometers an hour. Yeah. All right, so they're saying, there we are, they're saying 12 in periods of rain, yet it's sunny out, so I don't know about them people, but anyway. And look at that, holy cats, chance of flurries, holy cats tomorrow, look, 8 degrees. Anyway, Friday is sort of a reasonable day, 10 and mix of sun and cloud, 13 on Saturday, rain, 5 on Sunday, rain, 7 and 8, some mix of sun and cloud for Monday and Tuesday. So just kind of cruising along about the same here, not getting any warmer, really. Look at the two temperatures there, 0 degrees at night time, so yeah, so still a ways away yet from the heat. Anyway, so yeah, so we're going to change the oil on this today. So I have to get it outside and I'll let it run for a bit. I got my drain catching thing here, and I got the ratchet to get the plug out. Plug is right there. So there we go. All right, we'll get her started up and I'll set it outside. And I can Okay, so we'll let her sit there and run for a bit, let her get warmed up, and then we'll take her back in and drain her out. So the fluid temperature this morning on the gauge there is 54 degrees. So now that gauge I showed you yesterday, that's on the tractor, that shows temperature, RPM, and hours, is a gauge that the son got somewhere, and we put it on there, I don't know, like I say, 2 or 3 years ago, I guess now. It kind of comes in handy for running the wood splitter. I like to run the engine around 2400 RPM, so I can get her set up to where I want there. And the oil temperature is kind of good, so if you can see her overheating, you can do something and see why it's doing that. So these tractors are, they call it, it's not on this, on the other side, they call it hydraulic drive. And a lot of people mistakenly put hydraulic oil in them. It's not supposed to be hydraulic oil, it's supposed to be 1540 motor oil, preferably diesel, I guess, from what I've heard. It's really supposed to have 2040 oil, but you can't buy that anymore, I guess. So some people do put 2050 in them, and that's that. So, but if you put hydraulic oil in it, apparently it can ruin some parts in it, from what I've been told. And hydraulic oil is quite thin compared to the 1540 oil. So we'll have to have a look at that tank up front there to see how much oil is in it, because the thing does leak some here and there, and that's just the way it is with an old tractor, I guess. So, and to fix all them leaks, well, you'd be into an awful lot of work, and it would still end up leaking anyway. So. So I just leave it alone. Just add oil. Yeah, so it's a little different system. I don't know if you know or anybody knows with these case tractors. They are hydraulic drive, as they call it, but really should be called fluid drive, I think. But so they do take motor oil. So they have a pump at the back of the engine that produces. It's an 8-gallon a minute pump and produces 2,000 pounds pressure. And then that sends, for the drive, that then sends that to a hydraulic motor, which is hooked to the rear transaxle here. And that's how it drives. And it's a little bit kind of different system. I'm not sure how a hydrostatic works, but it does have a pump, but it doesn't make the same pressure this one does. And not sure how it actually drives itself inside the hydrostatic unit. Whether it's a motor or if it's just vanes that open and close or what, I don't know that for sure. So anyway, yeah, so this hydraulic motor that runs the transmission. And it is a high-low range transmission with a neutral. And what else can I tell you? Now the one thing with these tractors is that if you're going downhill, they'll tend to roll. They'll actually pick up speed going down the hill. If you have the hydraulic drive set in a certain location, it'll go faster than what you want because it's rolling. So you have to use the retard on the thing to kind of slow it down. So it takes a little bit of getting used to how to drive them, that's for sure. I kind of like on flat ground myself with it, because it can roll away on you very quick. Anyway, that's a different kind of system now. Like I say, it is not the same as a hydrostatic system, that's for sure. I'll let her warm up there for a bit, and I'll get her back in here in a minute. Just hang on a minute here. Oops, I got the engine motor dirty again. Alright, this should be able to sit on the floor, hopefully. Maybe, possibly. I'm gonna get it there without getting it all over the place. There. Alright. Yeah, we'll let her drain there for a while, and then we'll put some more oil. I just used 10W30, nothing special. That's the best way to shine up your engine motor, fill it with oil. Alright, so I guess that'll do for now. Drain away. I should be able to get the jack and lift up the other side. Maybe. Anyway, we'll see. So anyway, this is all I use for oil. It's just the basic oil. Alright, I'll get back to you after a little while. Alright, we got the drain plug back in. And we're filling her with oil. I'm just using a container here to put oil into the tractor, because it's a little difficult to get oil in with the normal can or whatever. Not much room there to get at. So it's easier to use that with the spout on it. So anyhow, that's what I'm doing. So I did jack up the tractor on the right side here, and it's surprising the difference of the amount of oil that come out of it. So, all right, I'm going to finish filling her up, and I'll get back to you. All right, so we got the oil all back in her, and I got her all jacked up here. Might give me enough room to do what I need to do. It's easy to do the front end and the wheels and stuff anyway, but those two nipples there that are on the steering system underneath there, they're a bugger to get at. And I got looking at Princess Auto this morning, looking for a grease coupler that would be on a 45 degrees, but no, they don't make such a thing. Make one on 90. I think 45 is what I was looking for, but anyway, I'll have to get a better look at it under here again and see what would work there, or if I could change the nipple to a 45 degree. Anyway, so there she is. I'm going to see if I can get under it here. I've got to put some other things under it just to block it up a bit, but anyway, that's it. It can't go backwards because I got a strap right around everything there, so but that lifted her up a good almost a foot. So anyhow, I'll get at the grease in here and see if I can get done what I need to get done. I'll get back to you. Well, I got the two nipples that I was after. Holy cats, what a place to get at. And if I had a 45 nipple for the one of them, that would make it a lot easier. But you just cannot get it there laying underneath that. You'd have to have it up, standing up on its hind legs straight up in the air with the lights hitting the ceiling, let's say, and or have it on a hoist. That'd be the only way. Now I hope this camera wasn't running while I was under there, because the air was blue, fairly blue. Oh dear, makes you wonder why they make stuff the way they do. Anyway, at least I got it, so that's a good thing. Now, I'll shut you off again for a minute, and I'll get back to you here with a few other little things. All right, we're pretty well done here now. Anyway, you can see there on the engine monitor how it says hydraulic drive. So that kind of fools people sometimes, that they end up putting hydraulic oil in it. So that's not a thing to do. You don't put hydraulic oil in them. You put motor oil in them. 1540 is what the normal thing is to use. You should use 2040, but they don't make that anymore, I guess. So okay, so anyway, here's our tank for our hydraulic. If you can see anything or not. Yeah, there's the oil. You can kind of see it there. Anyway, how you measure that is it down 2 inches from the top. So my fingers, that's an inch right to there, and that's an inch right to there. So I already got the finger wet, so you can't see, I guess. But anyway, I'll put my finger in just so I'm just kind of touching the oil there now. So my finger, this 2 inch mark was about middle way here. So that's a good amount to have in it. So that's what the suggested amount is. Now I'm going to find a wag. There's no filter on these. This hydraulic system that runs down on that big pipe, that's the one that goes to the pump back here behind the engine, and then feeds all of the tractor to run the transmission, run the lift up and down, run the PTO at the back. There is no filter. And we do have a hydraulic or an oil cooler up front here. I don't know if I can show you that or not. Yeah. So that little fan in behind, that's what draws air through the cooler. And cools her off. Now in the summertime on a hot day, it was 80, 85 degrees out, and I'm cutting the grass. The hydraulic oil on my temperature gauge here gets to maybe 100 and, I forget now, would it be around 140 or something like that, maybe a little less. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but I don't think it's too bad. I think from what I've seen, hydraulic oil can get a lot hotter than that in systems. So that's all right. So that's this isn't a thing that came with the tractor. This is something that we bought and put in. So it's a neat little rig. I don't know where my son found it, but anyway. So there's the wrap to go around the spark plug for the RPMs, and then we have a temperature sensor wrapped up in here on the hydraulic oil, coming back to the cooler, and then the hour. It tells you the amount of hours the engine was running. So this tractor has the higher amp charging system. Can't really see it there, I guess, but If it was a 10 amp, it would have 3 terminals all in a row. This one has 2 here and then 1 in behind. So that's a 15 amp. Charge is good. It works really well. Now, it is hard to know what is original on this tractor because that's just the way it is. 50 years old. So. Now you can kind of see here that it's a socket that somebody put in there. For some reason, I can't remember now. I know the fellow that had this tractor, and they had it, I think, most of their lives. And I don't know what they did, but anyway. It's hard to know if it's the original motor or not. Don't know. And you can see the dipstick is had been welded together, so it's really hard to know where it's the level is supposed to be. What is right. Anyway, what I figured, and I don't know how I did this, but anyway, these engines either take 1.5 liters or they take 2 liters, and I can't remember now how I figured it out, but anyway, it takes about 2 liters, and it takes it up to just a little bit over the L there, where the end of my thumb is. So I try and keep it around above that L or in between the 2 L's. That's what I try and do. And it's been running for a couple of years, so I guess it must be working. Anyway, what else is there? I had this hose bust on me once. Oil everywhere. So that was in the middle of wood splitting time. And then there's another hose over here that I changed because it was getting soft. I should have changed the 2 of them at the same time, I guess. But I changed this one here. Other than that, I haven't done anything too much to the hydraulic system. And then with the back here, we have the PTO system. Not all tractors, not all case tractors had that. That was an option. Same with the 3-point hitch. And 3-point hitch looks to be an original piece, but the arms don't. And there is the cylinder that was on it was not the right cylinder, and there was never anything really hooked to it to lift an original cylinder if there had been one. So kind of a mishmash of things, but it is an original piece here and this. So you hook up your implement onto here, either being for a case it would have been a tiller or a wood splitter. And I hook up a wood splitter. It's just a homemade wood splitter. It's not a case wood splitter. And then you put the handle into gear one way or the other, and off you go. Now, this would be, I would think that this, if you went that way with the handle, the tiller, let's say, would go forward, and then if you came back with the handle, the tiller would go backwards, is what I'm guessing. So, and there are gas tanks there, so we'll hit that too. I don't know how big that is, but it's probably 15 liters, I would think, or more. And I made up a gas gauge. You got to have a gas gauge. There now, look at that. Right on the 3/4 mark, about. Anyway, look at that. Soaked up all that gas into the piece of wood. There's about $10 worth of gas wasted. It's not far from it. Anyhow, it's been a good old tractor. It's certainly not going to last forever. But at 50 years old, it's not doing too bad. And it's not the original seat. It's something I made up there. A fella gave me that seat, so I kind of made up something for the seat to get the mount on. So in order to put gas in it, you have to put the transmission into neutral, because if you have it in the low range, the seat won't come ahead. If it's in high range, it wouldn't matter. But anyway, so this is the lift for the attachments, up and down, and then you have your drive over here. That's the drive handle. You push it ahead and you go ahead, and you pull it back and you go back. And the brake. And there's the lock for the brake. I have it locked in at the moment. Yeah, there's quite a tractor. Yeah, the other thing with the hydraulic tank, this one is 2 inches down for normal filling height. Now the ones that are newer than this have the tank up in here, plastic tank, and you keep those 5 to 6 inches down from the cap. So different system. Something I do got to do, and I should do it today, but I'm not gonna. Is in under here, there's another sort of like a pin underneath there, that rides on a plastic piece that I don't doubt if you can see. Yeah, probably not. Anyway, it's got little divots in it. And when you put this into position where you want, this is spring loaded, so this comes up and fits into the little divot, and you can set it to where you want, just whatever divot you want, that's the speed you go. Now, it wore out, of course, underneath there because it's plastic, so I got to get the battery out and then figure out what to do. I've already done it once with something, but it did help, but didn't fix it completely. So I've got to redo that. So anyway, more blabbering and going on foolish today. So, well, the next step for this is to put the mowing deck on it. That's the next step, I guess. All right, we're going to cut her off at that because I imagine it's gone way past its time here. All right, goodbye now. Oh yeah, have a great day wherever you're at and whatever you're doing.